I received a few emails last year from Chevy Bolt owners. Well, they told me this information and I didn't talk about it because I wasn't sure if this was going to be correct. But a recent report has come out which proves that something very good has happened for Chevy Bolt owners and something not so good. There's actually two parts to this story. One side are only trying to tell one side of the story. The other side are telling the other side of the story. Here I'm going to give you both sides. Hello my friends, welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking, great to see you here. My name is Sam Evans and I'm coming to you from Melbourne in Australia. I'm about to fly out in a couple of hours to Brisbane to go and watch my son, or take my son to the national championships for his BMX racing. Wish him luck. I think it's going to be raining, so that's when they crash, and I get a bit nervous as a dad watching him when it's like that, and the kids can be pretty aggressive when they are racing and the stakes are on the line and their dads are really competitive, and I'm not one of those dads. Well, I am actually. Anyway, Chevy Bolt, what's going on with it? Well, if you own one of these, there's been good and bad news. If you own an old one, say 2017, they're going to give you a brand new battery pack. That's the short news. That's the good part about it, right? New pack. Obviously, if you've done quite a few kilometers since 2017, then you would have seen some battery degradation. This means that you're going to have longer range. So for example, there's a report on InsideEVs where they tested a 2017 model which had the new battery pack put in it, and it got around about 15% more range than it was getting before it received the new battery pack. But that was with an extra person in the car. So based on that example, I would say that the vehicle would give them about 18% more range if you have a car that's done, say, more than 80,000 miles. If you have a new one, if you bought it within the last 18 months, yeah, it's not really an advantage. It's really a disadvantage. This story on InsideEVs doesn't mention any of that. They're just saying, oh, isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful that these General Motors Bolt owners and EUV owners get a new battery pack? And it is for some owners, not for others. So it depends on which category you fall into. How long have you had the car for, right? Now, the article shares what could be said is a little bit of misinformation. It says Chevy Bolt EV battery recall saga was an incredible inconvenience for many early adopters that bought one. GM first asked Bolt EV owners not to park the vehicle inside or charge overnight. General Motors spokesman Dan Flores later recommended that Bolt EV owners not park within 50 feet of any other vehicle. Now, people in the comments to this article have been saying, this isn't true. It is true. In fact, the Detroit News reported on it. It was in an interview. It wasn't an official statement from General Motors. General Motors didn't issue an official recall saying you can't park the vehicle within 50 feet of anything else, right? But Dan Flores from GM said it in an interview. He said, I don't recommend you do this. So therefore, people were confused because General Motors didn't say it officially. He just said in an interview. People were thinking, should we, shouldn't we? What's the real rule here? Well, no one ever knew. No one even knows to this day what they're officially meant to have done, because there was those two different messages coming out from General Motors. One officially, one unofficially. The official notice was you didn't need to do that. The unofficial notice was you did need to do that. I think that's not a good thing. I think that's just confusing. The other thing is, if you've owned one of these only for a short period of time, this whole saga would have been a massive inconvenience. But the article doesn't point out one fact that's important to remember. GM did offer new owners a buyback. So you could essentially get your money back after having bought one of these, which I think is good. I think General Motors really did the right thing by most owners. I'm sure some of you might disagree with that. You might have had a different experience. Let me know in the comment section below, or let me know by sending me an email. But I think for the most part, General Motors have done a pretty good of dealing with this saga. To be fair on General Motors, they didn't make the battery pack. I don't personally blame them. I don't think they could have possibly known this was going to happen. I do blame LG Chem. I think LG Chem is screwed. Honestly, I think considering the NHTSA has now issued a safety recall for every single vehicle basically on the face of North America, which uses LG Chem batteries, I think that's a huge problem. Is it? The other big problem for LG Chem is, well, they don't make lithium iron phosphate batteries. They don't make LFP batteries. They are developing them, but they're a long way. They're a long way off making them in mass numbers. big disadvantage. And realistically, what are Volkswagen doing? I mean, what are a lot of companies going to do in the future? They're going to say, you know what, maybe we don't want to take that risk considering we're paying more money for your batteries than what we would be paying for, say, batteries from CATL. Why would you? It doesn't add up. There's not enough benefit to these batteries to say, take the risk, especially considering the fact that new LFP batteries, energy density is significantly improving. By the end of the year, we're going to see energy densities pretty close to lithium ternary batteries. It's just not a big advantage versus the potential risk. If Volkswagen says, hey, LG Chem, we want LFP, LG Chem says, sorry, can't help you. Maybe we can in 2024. Can you wait till then? I mean, what are companies going to say to that? Seriously. Anyway, getting back to the story. For some General Motors customers, it was impossible to comply with GM's instructions, unofficial instructions that they should park their vehicles 50 feet away from their house or from anything. I mean, as you can imagine, that would maybe only work if you lived in like some rural area, farming area. I don't know how it would be possible. So apparently some customers some GM Bolt and EUV owners were pretty stressed out by thinking, what am I going to do? If my car sets fire and it's near something else, then that's a difficult position to be in. One of the reasons for the increase in range, if you have an older vehicle, is this. The Bolt EV was introduced in 2017 and it had a 60 kilowatt hour battery pack and an EPA range rated at 238 miles. In 2020, General Motors increased the battery capacity to 66 kilowatt hours, which added 21 miles of EPA rated range, and that gave the Bolt an official rating of 259 miles, making it, in my view, one of the best value EVs you can, you kind of can buy it. They've restarted production now. So yeah, you can buy one now, right? Unfortunately, they don't qualify for the US tax credit anymore, but hey, it's still a really good value car, even though it doesn't qualify. And realistically, if you've got a model that's pre-2020 and you get a new battery pack and the battery pack's bigger, then, there's been a whole lot of inconvenience, but at least that sort of makes up for it in some way. Here's one comment that I thought was interesting and I should share with you. Got my new battery this year, just drove from Colorado Springs to Denver and back, 70 plus miles per hour for 130 miles. Plus some around town driving with winter tires and still got 3.9 miles per kilowatt hour on our 180 mile day. Great little car that is super efficient and has great range. Could do with an update on the charging curve. However, someone else wrote this. I won't see the same benefit on my EUV. The recall hit the day after I took delivery, so there's been zero degradation. I'm not going to get any additional range once I do get a new battery. And I have no idea when I'm going to get that new battery and get my full 100% charging ability back. I can't say General Motors has done so well for us. So there's been mixed experiences here. Positive experiences and negative experiences. It really depends on when you bought the car and your individual treatment from General Motors, where you were in the process of getting your battery. Has it been done already? Or are you still waiting? Some people, as you can see, are still waiting. Thanks for watching.